Everyone, so welcome to another episode on the podcast Koon Rijjeil. So today we have a singer, a dancer, a fucking legend in what she does.
Wow, okay.
And recently an inspiration to me because there's a lot of, I feel, similarities between myself and Yas. So Yas, welcome to Koon Rijjeil.
Thank you. Wow, what an introduction. Like, you set the bar high.
Well, I didn't set the bar high for no reason. We'll just start there.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So yes, the way that we start every single episode on Koon Rijjeil is I ask a question, which is, what does Koon Rijjeil mean to you, or what does be a man, quote unquote, mean to you?
So Koon Rijjeil
Koon Rijjeil
means?
So what does that mean to you? So it means it's like be a man.
Be a man. Okay. Really putting me on the spot here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, honestly. Can I get back to you on that? I'm going to think about it the
I'm
whole
remember.
episode, and at the end, I'm going to answer after our conversation.
Done. So honestly, I've seen a lot of the podcasts you've been on, and just even following your own pages just to see like what the whole story is about. And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. So from music to moving from different countries when you were younger to to going through a lot of different things in your life. So I wanted to firstly understand or get to know from you was music and dancing always a thing on the table for you? Was it always something that you said, this is what I want to do? Or was it more of something that just came by as time went on?
So I started dancing in Australia when I was not even 3. I was like 2.5, and I was already doing ballet, tap, and jazz, and for hours every day. Like since I was little, I grew up dancing. In Australia, like all the little kids are in dance. It was a thing.
They're all dancing babies.
Yeah, all dancing babies. So so I started really, really young. Obviously, through dance there is music, so music was in that way like always a part of me. And I was always doing shows. Like we would always have end of year concerts that, we would prepare for months for. And I was just always very, very interested in performing arts. As I grew older, I started to expand into different styles of dance. So like contemporary and musical theater style dance. And when I was older, like heels, just like everything,
Yeah.
When I moved to Dubai, I was 7, and I started taking musical theater classes here. So it was an hour of dance, an hour of singing, and an hour of acting. So that's kind of when I started to get into the more of like singing and music side. And I love it so much. I always have, and I always will. So I guess you could say that it's always been a part of me. When I got older, I was 15, and I decided that this is what I want to do for my career, what I want to do forever. So that's when I decided to pursue music as a career. But yeah, it's always been a part of me. I've always been so dedicated. It was always like after school, straight to dance, and I would be there until the evening, and then go home, homework, and then and
then repeat the same thing all over again the next day.
Every single day. Yeah.
It's funny because when you talk about like things you do, like activities, if you will, at school and stuff. Like I remember, so I don't know if my parents are gonna like me saying this, but I'll just be honest. I mean that's the point of this podcast. So I remember they enrolled me in like fucking kickboxing, and I used to hate it. I used to hate it, dude. Till today I'm against violence. I don't like any form of even to train it is one thing, but to feel like I need to learn it to use it one day if I need to. It's like it's sort of, to me personally, it feels like a bit like I'm trying to prepare myself for the worst, which isn't always going to be the case. That's a bit of like wishful thinking. But for me, I had the complete opposite reaction to you. I would hate going to it. I would hate it. I would hate it.
Because my parents, they also put me in so many different things like swimming and tennis and actually taekwondo I was doing as well in Australia, but none of them stuck. Dance and music.
Dancing. Yeah.
Performing arts.
The thing is like, and again, I think when when you do it in front of a crowd per se, or do it in front of people, you have a bigger goal, you have a bigger thing. It's like, okay, I'm training for a purpose.
Yes.
But when you're training for the sake of training. And at the time I was quite young, so I didn't really understand a lot. But just training for the sake of training and going through it, it's like,
you hated it.
I was like, I don't do this.
Yeah.
But Hala, to be fair to them, I mean, I was also in tennis for like the longest time, like in my life. I used to love it so much. Till today, I love the sport. Yeah. But then I think since I graduated, I've never went back. I've never wanted to go back to it.
Okay.
I think just because of like past memories as a kid, like I just never liked it. I didn't like the vibe, the people, the sort of bullies you'd find there. So it's
very competitive as well. Yeah.
Super competitive. Yeah. It's very like masculine, this stuff, which some people enjoy, some people like me don't. And then I started to find a way where I want to pick what I want to do.
Yeah.
Rather than people telling me, oh, you should do something.
This or that. Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, my parents would be like, "Oh, we should put you in music. Like, why don't you go?" Yeah, imagine me as like a pianist or like a guitar. Like,
why not?
I was like, yeah, but at the time as a kid, I was like, "Oh, I'm a boy. I don't play music." That was the mentality at the time.
Yes.
Now I'm like, man, I should have done it. I could have had a lot more in my back pocket that I would use whenever I needed to. You know, like if I don't know if like you're at a concert and the power goes off, I got a guitar, I can play. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then I went into rugby, loved it so much, man. I loved it. And then just a lot more trainings for myself, like CrossFit training, like general fitness. And then is when I started to find my purpose.
Okay.
In that field. So, you know.
So like a bit later?
Oh yeah. So I started playing rugby at 18.
Oh, okay.
At 18 I started to play. I finished, so I played in university, graduated at around 22, 21, I think. No. 21 I graduated.
Okay.
and then CrossFit came right after. So it was just, okay, what's the next best thing for me, and to feel like I'm doing something that I want to do, not because someone told me, oh, this is the cool new hip thing to do. It's like, no, I'm not for that. So that's been, you know, my journey trying to find what's really
your
for
passion.
me.
Your path.
And now it's podcasting. So
yeah, well, you landed somewhere. You found it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
somehow, some way, you know, there's a reason why we do things, right?
Yes.
And I think there's a reason for my podcast, which anyways we'll get into in a bit. And I also want to hear your why, if you want, as to why you've consistently pursued things like dancing and singing, because I understand that it's one thing to love it, but it's also something to be super consistent and to keep being motivated, even when things aren't working out.
Right, yeah.
You know, so that's something that I would want to hear a bit more of.
You want me to answer this now? Where do I start? Why? Well, first of all, like, as you said, like, I love it. So that is the reason why in, you know, the first place I started all of this, and I wanted to pursue my career in music, is because, like, I truly cannot imagine like my life without it. It's in me, it is me. So like even now, every single day I'm singing, I'm dancing. It literally, it doesn't matter what is happening in my life, it's the one thing that stays consistent is my love for it, is my dedication. And I'm really happy that my parents put me in dance like when I was 3, because growing up all these years, it really taught me how to work hard and to be consistent and to be dedicated, not to rely on motivation. So many people, they always talk about, you need to be motivated. You know, like, I don't wake up every day, if I'm 100% honest, I don't wake up every day like, oh, I want to train for hours. Like, for example, last night, like, I got 0 hours of sleep, but this morning I woke up and I just danced for 3 hours before I came here. So if I, you know, was only relying on motivation, you know, it wouldn't happen. So it really taught me how to be disciplined. So I'm really grateful for that. But there were so many things growing up, you know, that happened in my life, in school, that also happened then, like in dance studios with, you know, competitive, you know, environments and teachers telling you that you're not going to make anything of yourself, and like you can't do it, and just so many different things combined that really pushed me even more to kind of like prove to them and to myself, most importantly, that no, like, I can do this, and if I put my mind to it, I will do it. So yeah, when I was 15, I left normal high school.
Yeah.
I moved to homeschooling and fully dedicated myself to this. And my mom as well. She left everything, literally
Wow.
her work, like put everything on hold. And she's been on this journey with me.
That's
So she's
fantastic.
as well very dedicated. But yeah, it's like I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Like I have really, really, really big goals.
I'm sure you're gonna get there.
So I hope so.
No, you will. Like honestly, I even from what I'm hearing, like there's a fire that's inside of you that's
Yeah.
it's gonna get somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's today, whether it's in 10, 15, whatever it is,
Right.
it's gonna happen. We just need to be very ready for when that day does come,
Yeah.
and just keep reminding ourselves that even when times are hard, we're gonna get there. It's a matter of being consistent
Yeah.
and motivated
Yeah.
and because you need to keep remembering why you're doing these things.
Exactly. But I feel like that's the hardest part.
It
is the like
it's never easy.
it's how do I say, like in the back of my mind, I kind of like I know because of everything I'm doing and my work ethic and everything, I like it has to pay off somehow, but it's just like having the patience and like not
Yeah.
knowing when, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
As you
yeah,
said,
yeah.
it can be tomorrow, it can be in 5 years. And I guess I just have to be prepared for that, like, you know, and just keep going, because there are days definitely when it does get very, very hard. And
It
I'm
does,
like,
yeah.
I don't know if I can, you know, keep going.
But you know, what I always think about is, I mentioned it very briefly earlier, but like, there's always a reason why we do things. Always. For example, for me, for my podcast, is to. I mean, one of the bigger reasons is to heal the inner child inside me,
Yeah.
who didn't always talk up as much, didn't share what he thinks as much,
Yeah.
didn't feel like his voice was important at all. There's a reason, for example, why I'm training myself maybe 5-6 times a week, because of this, because of how I viewed myself, but also how others viewed me, and how that affected me, but also how it made me believe that what they were saying was true.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, that's a separate story, but yeah, and I think, you know, of course, like, you know, even with your own journey, for sure, there's a part of you that you're trying to not break out, like you want to break out of the shell, which I'm sure at this point you have, but no, not entirely.
That's another story.
Let's talk about it then.
No, wait, what? No, I shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't have, but welcome to Koon Rijjeil.
I just exposed myself. No, I don't know. I mean, I was actually listening to another podcast, and they were talking about this. Is like, I don't know if you know too much about my story, but a lot of bullying was happening, you know, growing up, and it definitely affected me very, 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 very much. And I, you know, had an eating disorder, still till this day do. And that's like kind of what I was gonna say, is that they were talking about, like, does it actually ever leave you? Like, yes, you may, you know, heal like in specific some ways, but I feel like it never really fully like leaves you. Like, it's always going to be a part of you, you know.
I mean, you're always going to be remembered by. You're always going to remember those times, those moments. Yeah.
Definitely. I don't think it's something that ever just fully goes away, unfortunately.
I mean, look, I think from my own perspective, I think like a lot of times, you know, like even from my own childhood, like there are things that have happened, like whether it was bullying or whether it was fat shaming or whatever, like a lot of stuff. But
really,
but I think it got to a point where I'm like, okay, this is where I am.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? One, what am I gonna do about it? And two, you know, that was you know, that was a younger me. This is not the current version of me.
Right.
But also, more importantly, is that also you need to heal that younger side of yourself that didn't heal as well, right? So talking to yourself as a younger or younger Karim, whatever, and just reinforcing that, okay, actually those problems are not a reflection of me per se, they're a reflection of the world. They happened, sure. It's not nice that it happened at all.
Yeah.
but at the same time, you need to keep on reminding yourself that, okay, you know, like how am I going to make it better for my younger self and for my current self? Because at the end of the day, everything that we do today, and it took me a long time to learn this, is based off of our childhood, whether we think about it or not. Even the decisions we make, the conversations we want to have, the relationships we want to have, everything. It's all dependent on whatever's happened there. And I think as soon as you fix that, you fix sort of that relationship or that side of yourself, I think things, I'm not going to say become so clear,
Right.
but they start to make a bit more sense as to why they happen, you know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, even me recently, just like I started learning more about that, about that everything that happened to you as a child. Like it's still, I mean, it makes sense, but like sometimes you don't even realize it, like even like just subconsciously, as you said, like the decisions you make and the way, I don't know, like even me, like the way I allow others to treat me and how things people say affect me, everything, it all goes back to,
So yeah, no, looking as well, like even the other day I was having a chat with a friend of mine. He was having like a problem at work and stuff, and we were discussing, and I was like, the biggest problem that a lot of us face today is setting boundaries.
Yes.
And I think setting boundaries is something that we never learned as kids. We never learned. It was always like, yeah, okay, be a good person, be a good boy, be a good girl, whatever. Someone asks something of you, yes, of course.
Yes.
But then again, you realize that, sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but the world is shit. People don't see it like that. People aren't nice to you because, they're always not lucky. There's cases where people are genuinely nice and they're good people. Yes. But there's also other instances where, people have a goal, people have an agenda,
Exactly.
And even I've started to pay a lot more attention to this, which is, how do I want people to treat me? How do I want to treat myself as well? Right. Like, and I always think about it. I'm starting to wake up every day with this mentality of what am I going to do better for myself today that I didn't do yesterday? Or what am I going to do better today that's going to help me overcome today, tomorrow, in 10 years?
Yeah.
Just to make myself feel that, one, I'm not reliant on other people, because that's, I think, as well, growing up, I think I've had is that I was heavily reliant on my family growing up as a kid, but now it's a matter of, okay, cool, that's happened, but now I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I need to be independent. I need to be my own self. I need to be there for myself now. No one's gonna come in here and tell you, I think you should do 1, 2, 3, 4, because people will never do that.
I know.
That's the sad truth of the world.
Yeah, it's true. I really struggle with setting boundaries, like, because I always try to be very kind. I'm always respectful, and as you said, not everybody has like the best intentions, and not everybody. Many people, they take it as like a weakness, or that they can just like, walk all over you. And so many times I just let them, because I don't know, I feel like I'm scared. Like I just want to be liked. You get what I mean? I just want to be accepted.
I know.
I just want to be liked. It's because, growing up, I was never accepted. I was always the outsider, didn't have any friends, nobody to talk to. So I feel like I'm scared to, again, not be, accepted. So I'm always just saying yes to everybody, and like, they can do whatever, say whatever, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's difficult. I'm really trying to kind of stop
and it's a
that.
tough one, huh? It's not easy. It's not easy to live every day being like, I don't care if people don't like me. Like, I really envy people who do that.
Yeah.
Because I like David Goggins style kind of person.
Right.
I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you wake up every day being like, I don't care if someone, I'm like, I don't need people to like me. Of course, it's a nice to have. But, but the reality is, if people don't like you, people don't talk to you. People don't talk to you, then nothing ever gets done. People never, be there for you when you need them, or when, and it's a scary place to be in, to be honest.
It's a tough one. Yeah, I know.
Scary. So what I did want to ask you is, so I think now that I mean, you've been through what you've been through. I think you've grown quite a lot from it. I mean, at least from what I hear. So are you afraid to be alone?
I think about this all the time, because, like, as I said, I was 15, 16. I went did homeschooling,
Yeah.
so obviously I was always kind of alone, just me and my mom. My dad was always at work. And then I would go to dance and to vocal lessons, acting, all of that stuff. But again, I didn't really find, I mean, you would think that you would find friends there because you're all like interested in doing the same thing. But what I was noticing is that at these studios, it was extremely competitive, and it was kind of like everybody was fighting for the teacher's attention and like to be the best and stuff. So I didn't really find friends there, and I wasn't going to normal school, so I wasn't socializing there. So I was kind of always, you know, feeling alone. And then when I was 18, I graduated. I opened my own business,
Wow.
a music and dance studio. And again, I was very busy with that, you know, teaching, choreographing while working on my music on this side and brand deals. And like I was doing so much that, again, I didn't have time to socialize. I mean, at my studio, I, you know, obviously came across a lot of people. But again, I kind of found this issue where I was being too kind to, because I was teaching. I wasn't just like
Yeah.
the owner, but I was also
Of
teaching.
course.
So, you know, as a teacher, like there should be some like certain level of respect, you know. But because I was treating everybody as my friend and just being, I think, overly nice, like I could see that I wasn't getting the
Yeah.
respect. And also, I don't know if it was also I was 18 where people kind of saw me as like, oh, like, you know, like she's this
So
young kid,
who
like,
has her own
you
who has her
know,
own thing and
exactly, like
acts
who
as if
does
she
she
runs the
think she
show.
is? Exactly. So I wasn't getting that respect,
Yeah.
which, you know, unfortunately, again, was a big issue. So I wasn't able to, you know, kind of like make friends. And then studio closed. There was because of COVID. So I don't know. I've just always had this kind of like issue with, you know, finding like true friends and building like a close circle. That's why my mom, she's always been my best friend. I'm
Yeah.
always gonna talk about
Of
this.
course. No,
Like
honestly, you should. I
I
mean,
yeah
it's one of those things where you like you can't li- like you can't discredit somebody, right, for
right,
everything that they've ever done. It's
exactly.
fantastic.
Like if only you knew everything she's done for me, like it's unbelievable. She is completely selfless and has given up everything for me. So I am beyond grateful. Like I can't even explain. So she is my best friend. I know she always has, you know, like the best intentions, you know, for me. She
Yeah.
wants the best for me. She's always my number one supporter. Um, but yeah, like she's because again, like I don't drink, I don't smoke,
Yeah.
so I've never been to a club. So again, like I, you know, don't socialize
Yeah.
that way. But when I go to LA, that's actually like when like I feel like really happy and I don't feel the competitive energy. I mean, obviously, LA is like the social hub of entertainment, and everybody does say that it's cutthroat. But if you find a good, you know, circle of people,
Yeah.
definitely you can, you know, make
Of course,
friends,
definitely.
and I love it.
Of course, and the thing is, like, you know, I think, you know, when you look back at a lot of things that you've went through, and I think even from a younger age, like it's always been you and your mom. So
Mm,
I think maybe even that question of, you know, am I afraid to be alone? Or it might pop around every now and then, but I think because you've had also a lot of things to do, you know, from
yeah,
running your own show to dancing to performing to making your own music and all that. So it's been a bit like so much to do. I'm not having the chance to sit and think or
right.
to not think, but to sort of understand if that's something that I feel or don't feel,
Mm.
or you know. So
You know, I actually even completely forgot that that was the question, but like, cause I got, you know, caught up in
no,
my,
honestly, it's good.
um, but it actually is something that like I do think about. Like I have really bad trouble sleeping. I can never sleep. Like if I
Interesting.
get, I don't know, 2 hours of sleep, I'm happy. It's just because I feel like during the day I'm, you know, doing one thing to the next, and then at night it's like, you know, kind of when everything,
Yeah.
and then that's when all the thoughts like come creeping in, and I cannot sleep because my mind is just so active, and I'm always thinking about, what I want to do next and plans and who I need to message the next day and all of this stuff. And sometimes it does kind of like, I do start thinking about like, I'm 23. I've never been in a relationship. Like, am I gonna be alone forever? Like when I was a child, I honestly thought that by 21 I would be married and
It's like a happily ever after Disney story.
and like everything, is exactly. Like I'm all set, and that's like the furthest, from my reality. So it is definitely something that I do think about here and there, and it does really scare me, if I'm honest, because I don't know. I mean, I'm going to contradict myself. In the beginning, I said that I know that, I am going to make it in, whatever way, and I'm going to achieve everything that I want to. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, like if I don't, and like I've been, all these years working and just not focusing on other things, like, am I gonna be alone? Like, is this all gonna be for nothing? You know what I mean? If I don't make it, and then like I'm 30 and like
you're
like,
30 with like 10 cats, and and nothing against cats. I mean, sorry, people who know me know I don't like cats, but anyways.
Me neither. Dogs. If it's anything, I'll be with 10 dogs.
Sure, dogs. Yeah, I don't mind them.
But yeah, so it is definitely something that.
But you said something interesting, which is like so recently I started to do this thing where I started to do things for myself, like things that I would always want to do, but I've never done them. Like, for example, I've always wanted to go to like these beach morning workouts. I never used to do them. Never. One day I was like, you know what? Why not? Why do I not go and do that for myself? I'm going to be all around like-minded people. Right. People are going to be thinking, maybe not thinking exactly like me, but there's a bit of a similarity. People who are going to wake up early, they care about themselves, their mental health, their ability to train and all that. And what I've started to notice is that when I've started to put myself within those social circles, that's when things start to open up. So it's like, and what would happen for the longest time, I think for the past 3-4 years since I've moved back here from Beirut. Okay. I would also do the exact same thing every single day. Wake up, go to work, train in the gym, not speak to anyone in the gym, never. Yeah. Go back home. At the time I was living with my sister, chill with her for a bit and then sleep, and then repeat the next day for 3 years. For 3 years. Wow. Or 3.5 years. Only recently I was like, you know what? No. This can't be my life. I can't be going to the same place every day, not meeting new people, feeling like I'm so alone. No one gets me. Yeah. No one feel like even with my existing friend group, like I love them to bits, but like there are things that, for example, like I wish I could do. Like I wish we could all do it together. Like, I don't know, go run a 20K run. Yeah. I don't know, do something like retardedly crazy. Right. But it's just not like that. And what I started to do is, let me put myself around the people who I feel would do that. And what happened from there is I started to meet great little individuals here and there. Yeah. This person here, this person's a really cool story. This person is, I don't know, has their own company here, does this, does that. And then it starts to open up slowly. And I think, and what I'm trying to say is that it's going to open up. Yeah. The more you keep persisting, because at the end of the day, you're not doing anything that's wrong, by the way. Right. Like it's not like you're sitting at home and you're like, I want to be a famous singer. How do I do that? And it's like, I don't want to sing. I just want someone to like AI my voice. It's like, well, honey, that doesn't work.
Well, nowadays, you never know.
Man, these guys, they're crazy.
I know, they're crazy.
But again, I think you're in the right circles. I think that part of your life will open up. Yeah, for sure. Whether it's always a decision away. That's the problem. It's always you never know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen.
You have to be patient, and that is like, I'm so bad at that. I want stuff now. I want stuff done.
And that makes sense. Yeah. And that makes sense. We're look, at the end of the day, as human beings, we're always like survivalists. Is that the word? Survivors. Yeah. So I don't know.
Survival.
We're on survival mode.
Yes. There we go.
That's the better word.
Yes.
So we always want to find a way to feel like we fit in, but also feel like we relate to people. People like us. People want to be friends with us. People want to go out with us. And with that comes this expectation of, but why is nothing happening? I'm doing everything right, but that's not. And there was a point in my life where it was like that, where I was in the gym. I was training hard. I'm running. I'm doing everything I can for myself. But then I realized, I'm like, yeah, but I feel super lonely. Like my friends are the same, which is 1 or 2 people, 3 people, which is not bad, by the way. I love it.
Yeah, no, if you have a good, you know,
A
2
good,
friends,
a
then
good circle. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, but no, got to a point where I'm like, okay, but I'm seeing the same people. And what happened a lot of the time, and I talk about this a lot in therapy. Like used to, now I think I'm getting over it. But like, I would always compare myself to my older sister all the time, because she was the person who I always look up to till today. She's been through a lot in her life. She's smashing it at work. Recently got married, married a great guy. Done it all. Lots of friends. You know, and I'm like, I wish I can be like Miral. I really, wish I can be as socially active as her. I wish I can be in a, like, if my, you know, if like people talk so highly of me as much as they do of her, I'm sure people do talk about highly of me as well. But it's this thing where it's like you tend to negate what you are, and you forget exactly like everything you've ever done, and just think, I want that.
Yeah.
You know, and again, only recently I started to realize, but actually, we're very different. Like, I'm more introverted. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know what I am anymore. But I'm a bit of both. She's more extroverted. She's more socializing, parties. I'm more I don't mind going to the mall, reading a book. I don't know, watching a film, sitting by the beach. I think like we're very different circles as well.
And that's okay.
Perfectly fine. Yeah. It like at the end of the day, we were never born into life with the how to live guide. Never. I mean, our parents always tell us, do 1, 2, 3 and have a good life. Yeah, but that was maybe the case 40 years ago, but not today. Today's world is
stuff is changing different. All the time.
Very
exactly.
Different. It's not the same.
Yeah.
You know, and even like when we talk about change, like there are things that I wish I could change. Maybe not me personally, but like somebody can help me change it. It's bullying. Like, I know I've shifted topics 180 degrees, but but it's something that I think about a lot. Like, even I saw this reel on Instagram the other day. Like, there was this kid in America who got beaten up in the hallways. I was like, what kind of shit is this? Like, how is this
still happening? I don't understand.
Still normal? Like, why is the world so silent on this? And of course, a lot of other important stuff. But this is one thing that's been happening for, I don't even know when it started. That's like, it's been around for way too long.
Right.
And there's all the like, and what's annoyingly interesting is that there's all these practices, right, about like wellness and student or employee like making them feel better and safer at work.
Yes.
But then again, you say one thing but you do another. It's like, you see them, you cover yourself with a mask. I don't watch, I don't look, it's like,
I know.
So it's like,
no, it's 100% exactly what you're saying. Like, they say one thing, but the reality is something completely different. It was like, growing up and I went to so many different schools because of the whole bullying thing. Like, it was really, really tough. And obviously all the schools saying the same thing, like, bullying is not tolerated, zero tolerance, all of this rubbish that, like, I get so angry if I even think about it now, because it's just completely not true. The teachers, everybody knew, what was going on, what was happening, and everybody just turned a blind eye, So, like, how can you say there's zero tolerance? Like, my parents were coming in crying to the principal, like, begging them, please do something, because it was I wouldn't wish it on anyone, honestly.
Course, no.
So I just wish that there was some kind of solution to this. But
it's interesting, because the other day I was watching one of the podcasts you were on, and so I have a younger sister as well. She's like,
wait, so are you you're the middle child?
I'm the middle child.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know how I feel about it though.
No,
because some people are like, you're the very like spoiled one, like you're like you're the mom's favorite, which isn't entirely true. Mom, you can tell me. I don't know, but maybe you can tell me. I don't think it's true, but my sisters are obviously jealous. Right. But yeah, so I always think about it. I'm like, I really wish it never happens to her to be bullied in any way, because it just screws so much with your mind.
Yes.
Like, it's a lot of times, even when I was young, it's like, I am what's happening. It's like I found it so hard to disconnect whatever happened at school with my own personal life, with whatever it was with family. It's like it's like I'd be, let's say, at the time I was, let's say 13.
Okay.
I'm recording my own podcast. I'm talking
Yeah.
to you, but in my mind, I'm not even here. I'm thinking about, I don't want to go back to school tomorrow because
Exactly.
some guy is gonna, I don't know, say something or do something, and I don't know how to avoid it.
Exactly.
You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's just, I'm not gonna say it's unavoidable. Like it's sorry, like it's unavoidable to, like for it to keep happening for some reason now.
Right.
Like a lot of schools, as I said, like bullying is not a thing here. But yeah, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Nothing.
Exactly.
You know, and it's funny because, so one of my favorite shows is Modern Family.
Okay, I've never seen it.
You should.
No.
It's a really good show. So there was an episode where, so basically, I'll tell you the family context.
Yeah.
So there's the dad who's like a rich 7-year-old man, like very like super American. Like I used to fight in the wars and stuff, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And he's married to Sofia Vergara.
Oh, okay.
And they have a baby.
Yeah.
But she's like his stepwife. I don't know, like it's his second wife.
Yeah.
And
Stepwife.
yeah, I don't know how you stepwife. Is that? I've had to make it up.
No. It's usually like stepdaughter,
stepwife. I don't know. See, we're making new words today. We love it.
Yeah, just roll with it. Stepwife.
Awesome.
Okay.
So then they have a son, right?
Yeah.
So this son is in the nursery. Okay. So Sophia comes back home. She goes like, "Oh, Joe got kicked out of the nursery." He goes like, "Oh, what happened?" Like Jay, the dad's asking, "What happened?" Okay. She goes like, "Yeah, because he pushed the kid around." He replies with, "Whatever happened to kids being kids?" Which then makes me think: Is that the mentality that schools have? Is that the mentality that, like, oh, they're just kids, they don't even know what they're doing, you know? But in fact, it's so wrong that and even till today, some people still have this bullying mentality in their mind that it's the right thing to do.
Right.
You know, it's it's crazy.
I've heard that a lot of times, actually. Yeah, like, oh, kids will be kids, like, you know. Yeah. They're just, but like, it starts, you know, when they're whatever, like kids, but they learn this behavior and it continues with, you know what I mean? Like for my case, it was happening until I was 16. Like when you're 16, you're not a kid anymore. You know, you know what you're doing. You know that this is wrong.
Super wrong. Super. And again, I think what's like, what makes it 20 times harder is it's like, again, there's all these like measures that they want to put, but they just never ever happen to just protect people because apparently we don't live that life anymore. We just let things happen, unfortunately.
I cannot imagine now with social media. Like,
it's even worse.
Social media was obviously like back then when it was happening to me, and it was something like that was happening in school, and then I would go home and I couldn't even escape that because then I would go home on Facebook and they would make group chats and would add me to those group chats where they would be making fun of me and, you know, like messages talking about me, to go die, that I'm a pig and that I'm this, I'm that, and not loved and all of this. And like seeing that as like a 13, 14-year-old, like it was really, really hard. And just, my point is that now when social media is even, you know, bigger and like plays a bigger part in kids and in their life, it's like I cannot imagine what's happening.
It's crazy because even like, you know, so I watched a lot of football, and a lot of times what would happen is players would be like exposed to a lot of like racial abuse, a lot of it. So for example, like if somebody writes something like racist to somebody, they'd flag it. They won't, like, they're not allowed to comment it.
Okay.
But then where is that for calling somebody something, or where even in messages? Some people will say, yeah, but like you're invading my privacy. Yeah, but screw your privacy.
Yeah.
There's lives, there's emotions, there's things that people shouldn't be going through at such a young age.
Exactly.
You know, and it's scary, honestly. But what I did want to like sort of touch upon is in those times.
Yeah.
What was your, you know, what was going through your mind? Because, you know, I would imagine that it's never easy, and I think it's like you're going through it in school and then out of school on social media, and then you have your dancing, which is your form of the escape of that life. But then even then, there were still people here and there who would just be super competitive. It wasn't like you're not able to breathe, at least from what I'm sort of making out of it in my head.
Right.
So what was it like for you to go through those through those times? Like, what was your Fionn mentality, or your thoughts, okay, is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? How am I ever going to get out of it? How did you cope with that?
I'm like 100% honest. I hated life. I hated everything. I had so much just like hatred inside of me. Like, I know that that's terrible. That's really bad, but it was too much for me. It was because, like, there's bullying and then there's bullying. What I was going through was like really extreme, and it was physical. It was everything and anything that you can think of, like being thrown into the trash and having like 30 kids on the football field like gang up against me and throw me around, push me around, and like nobody care, like if I can nobody gave a shit, like, about
Swear
me,
as much as
how
you
I
want.
was feeling, what was happening. And it was from older kids, and as I said, like teachers were watching, they just couldn't care less. So it was really, really difficult for me to go through, and I I didn't want to live anymore. I was crying all the time. Because even in the school bus, like it wasn't just in class, it was literally happening all the time, and I just felt like I couldn't escape it. Even when I would go to dance, there were so many times where I couldn't fully concentrate because I was feeling insecure that I was fat and that I didn't have a dancer's body, or that like I'm not good enough because like that's what I was hearing always at school, is that like, nobody loves you, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that. So obviously that like, then I'm putting that into my dance and into my singing, into my abilities, like thinking that I'm not good enough. So just always doubting myself, putting myself down, talking really badly to myself. And yeah, I hated everything, and I just didn't want to live anymore. And it was really difficult. Yeah.
I'm sorry you went through it.
Thank you.
No, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you like when you look back, you're like, I genuinely don't know how somebody could go through it, how somebody went through it, but also made it, if that makes sense, like as far as they did in their life. And I think, Belakis, you should be pretty, proud of how you've overcame it through what you're doing now in your dancing, your music, but also, again, what I think would be, remembering that, okay, yeah, all that happened, wasn't very nice, but at the end of the day, I'm doing something about it. I'm changing something in my life. And also when you're sharing your stories, you're also inspiring somebody else who's going through it, and it takes a lot of bravery, honestly. Like it took me a while to realize how brave it is to talk in front of a camera, or in general, even to people, because you just never know who's struggling. You never know who's going through something, even if they never show it.
Exactly.
Like even, yeah, like even when I was watching on the podcast you're on, like I would have never thought, genuinely, like, and I don't mean it in like a pity way. No, it's like somebody who's successful in what you do, and then you hear the backstory, like, okay, wow, like that is such an incredible journey that you've been on, from turning a very tough time in your life to something that, fuck that shit, I'm gonna do something about my life, I'm gonna go out and go and get it and be the best version of myself that I've always wanted to be. And I think even when I want to think about it in from my side, it's a bit like you're fueling that inner child, right? So you're taking the inner child, the inner version of you that always wanted to do so many things, and probably did, but maybe not at the full extent as which, or maybe as much as you would have wanted to go out, be out there, dance, sing, do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, that's what sets us free. So no, it's honestly, it's a great thing that you're doing now. Genuinely, like,
I still can't believe I'm like actually speaking about it, because like, so for so long I never wanted to share, all of this, and I kind of just wanted to pretend that, like, no, like everything was always
unicorns and
great, and
rainbows.
that, like, Yeah, but I don't know, my mom, she was always encouraging me to like no, like be honest, be cuz even like with, people that watch me and stuff, I've learned that just being honest is key to, connecting with people and inspiring others
Of
if
course.
they thought that everything was just easy and like I don't know, I don't think you can really take inspiration from
No,
that, but
trust
knowing
me,
like the
you can.
reality and everything that's behind it, I want to be that girl that can be that inspiration and role model for other girls, boys, anybody. That's really what I want to do with my music, is to inspire. That's like my number one
Trust me,
purpose.
you're going far.
Thank you.
No, like genuinely, like, and I
Thank
don't say
you.
it to be like this guy who's meant to say no, genuinely, like it's
Thank
great
you.
because again, like there's a lot of things that it's so hard. It takes a lot of courage for us to do.
Mm,
Like just to simply come up and talk is a whole other level of bravery.
mm,
I'll start there, and I think doing something about it is another step where it's like, okay, that happened, fine, but what am I gonna do? And I think to me that's something that you should be very proud of, genuinely.
thank
Like,
you.
so no, like, and I think even like, when I look back at my life,
Yeah.
even like growing up, like I remember, even in like kickboxing classes or even in school, it's like, so thing is, it's like it was a weird time because like when you do something and people expect you to be good at it. So it's like I play
Right.
kickboxing, people think I'm like a Mike Tyson
Pro.
or I don't know,
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali. So people would always try to like test me and like hit, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
but no, but I've never gotten into fights in my life
Yeah.
till today, never. I don't see the need to. I don't know why people do it,
Yeah.
genuinely. So it's like, yeah, like start hitting each other and this and that and calling you stuff, and then you're like, okay, but what if I'm actually weak? What if this? What if that? And then
Mm.
you have to like try to hide marks from your parents because they shouldn't know, because if they know, then they'd worry. They make a whole
Right.
scene.
Yeah.
People talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
you. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, and then and I think what happened in my like in my journey, like in school, I think it it didn't stop per se because I was always anxious. I was always afraid
Mm.
of like one day
Something's gonna.
something's
Yeah.
gonna happen, and you'd wake up every morning, you're excited to go to school, and then it's this the minute you put your foot on school, you're like, oh
Right.
fuck, no,
Yeah.
no, it's gonna happen all over again. Then you're always on your toes, you're always watching.
Mm.
And I think the thing that I did, hell, I don't know if if I should tell people to do it or not, but
Yeah.
like I think I tried it. What I tried to do was befriend
Okay.
the bully, if that makes sense.
Right.
Not to be like them, but more
Yeah.
of to try to find the human inside of them. And
Yeah.
that's what I always try to do with anyone. Is always trying to find the good in people,
Right.
because people have good hearts. That's my wishful thinking for
Yeah.
the way that I live. But I always try to think that somebody, like, even in the worst possible bully, there's a heart inside of them.
Mm.
I hope.
Yeah.
Might be wrong, might be right, but
You would hope.
I
Yeah.
really hope so. So and that's one strategy that I don't think was the best, but it was my
Mm.
only option because again, like, you have to also remember that in school I had an older sister, so as well,
Right.
so her friends would be like, "Oh, did you see Kareem? He
Mm-hmm.
got in that fight with this guy or this guy." It's like, yeah, but why does life need to be like that? Life
Yeah.
doesn't need to be so tough for
Mm-hmm.
young kids,
Exactly.
you know. And I always wonder, like, what is the solution for bullying? Like, I really wonder, like, because everything is being done, not even done, everything is being talked about.
Right. Yeah.
It's talk.
It's not like something that like nobody's aware of, like
People know it.
everybody knows that it's happening. And I feel like we're all kind of contributing in our own way, even if you're not you're not the one that's actively bullying someone, but just by turning a blind eye, you are in a way
Yeah,
participating in that.
100%.
So I don't know. I really hope that some kind of solution will be thought of very, very soon, because so many people have taken their lives, because of it. And
Yeah.
so many kids have to go through just really, really tough times, which, as we said in the beginning, like, it always stays with you. And it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
It scars you for one, and two is, I think one thing that we should also never forget is, again, I mean, there's also people who get bullied in school but also have problems at home.
Exactly.
So it's like the problems are never ending. It's like, for me, like, you're born into the world, family is like, there's problems there, and then you go into school, you're like, okay, I'll meet friends, I'll have like my playtime, whatever, but then that goes to shit.
Yeah.
Then outside of school, you're like, what do I do with my time?
Yeah.
Because you have no friends, because people see you as the guy who got bullied, and at the time, it's not somebody that people wanted to be friends with.
No.
Like, even from my, like, even looking back from my school days, like, you'd look and you'd see, like, the people who like were bullied per se, they didn't have a lot of friends. Of course, like, there was a few here and there, but even then, those weren't the most social peoples. They were just the guys who, just talk to you every now and then, so, and the world feels so lonely.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, I can imagine a lot of people go through.
I think it's because they're kind of afraid to be friends with the person that's getting bullied, because they might be afraid that they are gonna, they're gonna get bullied as well. So yeah, it is very lonely.
It's like Mean Girls. Mean Girls.
Mean Girls. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a chain reaction, right? It's like you don't know who to be friends with, but then again, what I always think about every day, it's not to forget what happened growing up, but it's more so of keeping, like, remembering it whenever, but also acting on it. And what am I going to do to fix it? And how do I how do I look and talk to my younger self?
Yeah.
Because when I look back, for example, like when I was in school, I wasn't the smartest either in school. So that was a whole other thing. So it's like, so I didn't have a lot of good things going on
for you.
Yeah, no. So like I would fail classes. I
God.
don't even know how I graduated from school and university. I genuinely don't know how it happened till today. I don't know.
Wow.
But and in those times where, like, I was gonna get kicked out of university because my grades were so bad, and again, at the time, looking at my older sister, being like, "Man, look at her. She's doing so well. She's like not tough. She's doing good. She has friends. She's sociable. My parents talk so highly of her because of her grades and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's a great person to be around. And then look at me. It's like the black sheep, if you want, of the family. And I think that like when I started to go in therapy, like 2 years ago, that's one of the first few things that I wanted to address. It's that younger part of myself that didn't know what to do, that didn't know what to say, that didn't know how to act on these instances here and there, that didn't speak when he wanted to speak, that didn't just didn't let the world know what he was going through because he was too afraid. And I think that's actually, that's one thing we should start doing, is to not be afraid. Live life without fear. Yeah, something you gotta say, just say it. Through the world, it's your own thoughts. Say it.
Exactly.
Again, it's very much easier said than done, of course. But but yeah, it's one of those things where tough. But yeah, look, life will never get easier.
That's true.
And if you expect it to be easier, then I think good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Good luck.
But you also need to know that, the only person you have in here is yourself. Only you can protect yourself. Only you can truly be, just helping yourself at all times and making sure that you're taking care of you today and also the younger version of yourself, because those added together is going to be the future you. So you also need to make sure that, whatever wounds you have, whatever things you want to get closure on, you want to address, even from your side, I think that's all super important, to just touch base, talk to yourself, journal, write, speaking. It's all super important things, I think.
Yeah. You're right.
It's not always right, but sometimes I like to think that I am.
About this, you're 100% right. And yeah, people need to normalize going to therapy as well.
Oh, of course. We all need therapy. All of us do. Even the happiest people need therapy.
Yeah.
Everyone does. Like, yeah, all of us do. I'm not going to give names, but we all do.
Just naming names.
Just no names here. Just faces in my mind.
Yeah.
We all need therapy. But yeah, I think just talk up. Don't be afraid, and just live your life, man. Don't settle for what other people think of you, what other people think is right or the best way to live life, because at the end it's their own
projections.
Exactly.
It's true.
So,
but again, it's easier said than done.
Of course,
like we all know this,
of
but
course.
to actually apply it is.
But it takes patience and practice. Like genuinely, like even for me to get to this level of, okay, of course there are days where I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. Other days where I'm like, no, this makes total sense. It takes a lot of time. You need to really believe that, you know what, this is my own life. I can't live it like this. I cannot. Like at the end of the day, like I want, like when someone looks at my life and goes like, yeah, you know what, he was a really great guy. He did 1, 2, 3, 4. He did what he believed. He was like he always did what's right.
Yeah.
For himself and for others. To me, that's the life I want to live. Not somebody who let the world dictate how you should live, because that's not a cool way to live.
No.
And if somebody likes it, then sure. But it's not for me.
That's true.
Wow.
Wow.
That felt like such a good therapy session.
I
felt like everything that I've held back from, like, even from myself.
Yeah. Oh,
came
I'm
out
so
a little
happy.
bit. But I mean, I want to see with you. Did you like did you feel like we how'd you say, like you got out everything you wanted to say in terms of like you, your journey, your life, you know, and also like I think even your approaches to life, because I think that's also super important, super interesting to me personally. It's just the ability to keep on going, you know, and I salute you for that.
Thank you. No, this definitely, it was a really nice reminder to, as you said, to keep on going. And I just wanted to say thank you for making me feel so comfortable. I'm happy I didn't cry. You know,
even if you did, it's fine. We're all allowed to cry. It's fine.
I didn't put any mascara, and I was
no need. It's fine.
Just prepared, but no. I definitely got a lot off my chest, and I feel like the reason for you like doing this podcast is you want to, you know, help others and inspire others. So I just hope that we got to do that today.
I'm sure.
I hope somebody took something away from this, and yeah, thank you so much.
So before we end the episode,
yes,
actually, two things.
Two things. Yeah. Okay.
What does being a man mean to you?
I would say, how do you say it again in Arabic?
Koon
Rijjeil.
But that's more in Lebanese. It's like the Lebanese iteration.
Arabic. Okay. Koon Rijjeil. I would say, I don't know, taking full ownership of who you are, like just owning who you are.
Full ownership. Okay, that's interesting. And across all walks of life.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I mean,
different answer to what you expected. What do people usually say?
Look, so some people say to be, I mean, of course, to be their true selves, to not be afraid to be who they are, but also, you know, to be like the provider, the person who takes care of everyone, who does the right things, very noble, very these things. And then there's another school of thought, which is maybe my school of thought, which is more of being vulnerable, which is normal. Like you're allowed to be vulnerable. You're allowed to you're allowed to be all those things, but as long as you're not suppressing your emotions, you're not holding back.
Exactly.
Per se. I think that's
also a way of owning who you are, you know what I mean?
Not being ashamed.
Yeah.
We love that.
I love that.
Number 2.
Yes.
Is at the end of every episode.
Okay.
We have this notebook, which I don't know if you were wondering why there was a notebook.
No, I actually never realized that there was a notebook. No, I was so engaged in the conversation.
We love that. So basically, we have a notebook, and at the end of every episode, we, you know, like to ask the guests if you have a quote to help somebody in need, or you know, or a quote that you give to somebody who's struggling, or a piece of advice that you would give them, or even to your younger self. Could be to whoever you want it to be for. What would it be? And you have to write it down.
I have to write it down.
Or do you have bad handwriting?
No.
Okay, good.
Well, I don't know. At least I don't think so.
My handwriting isn't the best, so
okay.
that's fine.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there are two different things that I would say, like for somebody, not somebody that's struggling, but just somebody that wants to make it in general, like in terms of like their goals and stuff. Is I always say this is hard work beats talent. That's one thing. That's definitely something that I've like had to learn growing up, and going to all these like different studios and stuff. So many people would kind of just rely on their like natural talent, and didn't really take them far. I could always see like the people working hard. It definitely got them to where they wanted to be. So I think that's one quote that I would say.
Awesome.
Hard work beats talent.
Okay.
Can I write that?
Of course. Of course.
Okay. Okay, now my handwriting.
Is it? I mean, if
it's to be nice.
Not that bad. I mean, it's definitely better than mine. So.
Okay. There we go.
We love that. Honestly, that is really. Thing is, there's a quote that I always follow, which is hard work pays off.
Pays off. Yeah, exactly. That's true.
And I think what you're saying is more along that you can be talented, which is amazing, but you need to keep acting on it to be super talented, not just talented.
100%. Because you're just gonna stay in that like one level if you never, and especially like in the arts and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm always using like arts and performing as an example because it's just what I do. But like stuff is always changing. Things are always like evolving, and you need to, keep up with what's happening. And if you just rely on your talent, then you're not gonna. Yeah, good luck. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's super. Yeah, it's super relatable, honestly. Like, and across everything you do, you can be talented at anything you do, but you need to keep on doing it. Doing it, but also improving it.
Yes, there we go. I love that.
If you're stuck in the same way, then people figured you out.
True.
We love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here and for recording and sharing your story. Like Amjad, it was very refreshing to hear somebody just talk and be very honest and open about their life, and I really do hope that one, we've helped somebody who is struggling at the moment, and two, I truly do hope that it's also helped me and you to also see the light in certain moments in our lives that maybe aren't so good. So I appreciate you and your time.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Done. Yeah, that was good actually. The thing is, it felt different than other episodes, by the way.
Really?
Because so I'll tell you, because here it felt more like an actual discussion.
Yeah.
Like in other ones that I've done, of course I'd have like like a few questions here and there in my mind, but this one was like more
freestyle.
Exactly.